Alright, folks, we got breaking news this afternoon. We just got word from the Citizen app and, of course, along with Laura Uhl, that another bank has been robbed in Queens. And this is the Chase Bank, literally right by my house and literally across the street from Bagels & Co. So this is what we know right now. 107 Precinct are at the corner of 188th Street and Union Turnpike reporting a bank robbery. Reported a suspect, male, white, late 20s to early 30s, 6 feet, was sitting at the bus stop and then entered the bank after customers left. So I'm thinking, did this guy just standing at the bus stop over there? Because we're going to have to get a look of what happened. Alright, so all we know right now is an undisclosed amount of U.S. currency was taken away. But a ransom note was given. A note was given to the bank teller. Suspect took off with cash heading northbound on 188th Street. Oh boy, please tell me this guy didn't take the Q17. So I got a bad feeling that's how he got away. Yep, and then look at this. Police believe this is the same serial suspect wanted for multiple bank robberies in Regal Park and in Bayside. And speaking of which, the Queens Courier actually wrote an article about it on Wednesday. Yeah, so this is who the police think. This is who the police think this is. Could be the same guy. Yeah. So, look at this. I mean, this is what's going on here. All right, this is what we have to deal with in Queens. All right, public safety is the number one concern for everyone right now. Not just me, but for everyone. How are we all supposed to feel safe? Right? I mean, this is the second time in a week the 107s had to come around the vicinity of 188th and Utopia Parkway for a major incident. We had the hit and run last week on 73rd, and now this. I mean, what is going on with my town? What is going on with my town? And then look at this. There was a major problem on the Queens Boulevard line last night. A male was struck by a train. Power was shut down. Multiple delays occurred on the E, F, M, and R lines last night. Yeah, because everybody was so focused on covering the shooting that happened in New Jersey last night. There was another mall shooting. 2 mall shootings that happened at Roosevelt Field on Wednesday, and then another shooting that happened last night, the American Dream. But again, we don't want to get into that. We have to focus on the city. And then look at this. Vandalism in Belrose. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. You just can't. I mean, at least this is some good news that we're finally getting Flushing Library reopened. Okay, so let's get into the other news that Channel 1 is just not going to cover. So, this is the first update we got to get into. Glendale man out on bail for grand larcenies busted in Fresh Meadows burglaries. So here we go. We got an update to this. So at least we have an arrest. A Glendale man was arrested on Wednesday for allegedly breaking into 2 Fresh Meadows homes last week after previously being arraigned on grand larceny charges in a separate incident last month. You cannot make this stuff up. Again, this is what bail reform does. Alright, and I'm glad the governor is at least taking the first step in her budget to at least give judges more discretion on, if you're a repeat offender, you got to do the time. Alright? But these guys belong in jail, not in the streets. Okay, here we go. I'm looking for the other thing here. Okay, look at this. Robbery of a shed. So look at this. So the suspect is currently waiting arraignment in Queens Criminal Court in a separate case. Rosario was charged with grand larceny, criminal possession of stolen property, 2 counts of escape, and other crimes according to court documents. So it says here that Rosario was in Richmond Hill during the evening of Wednesday, March 9th, 123rd Street and Liberty Avenue when he rode up on a bike behind a woman and snatched her purse containing multiple credit cards and cash. And then it says the suspect was arrested near 103-08 Lefferts Boulevard and placed in a patrol car to transport him to the 106th Precinct in Ozone Park. And look at this. He slid to the opposite side of the car, opened the door from the inside, and fled on foot. And look at this. He had a glass pipe, and he was containing cocaine. And then look at this. Rosario was arraigned in Queens Criminal Court on March 10th, where bail was set at $1,000 bond. And then he posted bail on Tuesday, March 15th, following a court appearance in Kew Gardens, according to Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz's office. So, there you go. I mean, this is what's going on in my area. I mean, we got homeless hanging around town. We got thugs up to no good. Literally, I was on 188th Street on Tuesday. I saw two suspicious-looking guys up to no good. And this is why we need to bring back... I'm sorry to say it, and if I'm going to annoy my friends who are liberal, well, too bad. We need to bring back stop and frisk. Because we're not feeling safe anymore. Alright? The reason why we had stop and frisk was to make sure that we can get the guns off the street. And if you don't get the guns off the street, at least get the knives off the street. You don't need a gun. Knives can kill too. My goodness. And trust me, I'm going to call out Mayor Eric Adams at the end of this video because he's certainly going to get a mouthful from me at the end of this video. Because this is just unacceptable what this mayor is doing. Alright, so look at this. Community Board 5 gets a permanent tow truck. Now, where is this? 75th, 83rd, and 104th Precinct. Okay. That is very interesting. Cypress Metropolitan and Pennsylvania Avenue. Well, that is very, very interesting. Well, I don't want to further get into that, but I mean, there is just so much going on here. I mean, you got this, Brooklyn's dealing with a lot of problems right now. I mean, I don't even have the patience to read about it. I just don't, because we really have to get into what's going on here. I mean, I've lost all my patience today talking about the crime in the other boroughs after, I mean, really. I mean, Fresh Meadows is really heading down a bad spiral right now. I mean, I would never, ever have to imagine saying that about my own community, but it's certainly looking like it. I mean, come on. I literally witnessed a hit and run last week. I literally have to find out a week later after that hit and run that a bank by my house got robbed. I mean, we have two Jace banks by my house. There's the Union Turnpike one, and then there's the other one by Horace Harding Expressway. I mean, these banks really need to start hiring security guards, because this is just getting out of hand. So let's get into this. So, as you're seeing here, major crimes continue to soar in New York City despite returning to broken windows policing. So, look at this. Serious crimes and shootings showed no sign of slowing down in March as the new NYPD data showed a 37% increase in major crimes citywide. In the first 100 days of the new Eric Adams administration, the tough-on-crime former police captain has touted the creation of a new anti-gun unit and returned to broken windows policing. Well, certainly, again, Eric Adams doesn't understand that knives can also kill people. He doesn't realize that emotionally disturbed people can kill people by using a subway train. I mean, this mayor is just completely out of touch. Oh, I'm gonna go out at 4 o'clock in the morning and convince people to go into a shelter. No! These people who have homeless tents are trespassing and need to be arrested. If you're on someone's property and you're putting a tent up, that is trespassing. The police are seriously lacking up on that. So here we go. While both homicides and rapes dropped 15.8% and 4.3% respectively in March compared to 2021, shootings, robberies, felony assaults, burglaries, grand larcenies, auto thefts, and hate crimes have all spiked compared to last year. The overall jump this year is largely driven by a steep increase in vehicle thefts, robbery, grand larcenies, and burglaries. So, look at this. I mean, they claim that homicides and rapes have gone down, but look at all the other major crime happening this year. And let's get into the most important one that I'm going to circle right here. And this is what I think should be top priority right now. Here we go. This. Let me erase it. Hang on. Delete. Yeah, here we go. This. Burglaries. This is my big problem right now that the Fresh Meadows community is dealing with right now. I mean, we have tires getting taken off of people's cars all over the borough of Queens. In fact, I saw online, I don't know what Facebook group this was, but I'm not going to show the picture, right by Long Island Jewish. 4 tires stolen from a car right by the hospital. You think that's okay? You think that's okay? Is it seriously okay with you, Eric Adams? This mayor has really been a shame. And the fact of the matter is, we haven't had a mayor of New York City visit Long Island Jewish since Rudy Giuliani was the mayor. Yeah, the last time a mayor of the city of New York visited Long Island Jewish Hospital was Rudy Giuliani. And there's proof of it. It's somewhere in the hospital. Someone told me that a while ago, but it's the truth. Bloomberg never visited. De Blasio never visited. And now it looks like we're going to have a third mayor in a row where we don't have the mayor addressing the community concerns outside of Long Island Jewish Hospital. So you tell me how that's okay. And then look at this. Shootings went up in March. 332 victims of gun violence, a 14% increase compared to the same period in 2021, and an average rate of nearly 4 shooting victims per day. And again, it looks like Heechin Sewell is asking for help. I think she's starting to realize that this bail reform law is hurting the police's job right now. The police can't do their job. It's just ridiculous. It's just crazy. And look, here are some of these. Well, then look at this. They claim the crime isn't as bad as the good old days of the 1980s and the pre-Rudy Giuliani era. 5-year high overall. Vehicle thefts in March of this year are up 107%. That includes what happened with the tires getting snatched off about a week ago at Long Island Jewish. Shootings increased 69%. Grand larceny up 26%. Felony assault 22.5%. Robberies 37% up. And by the way, there was a number that Rudy Giuliani gave. 98%. Here's an alarming number that he gave on the air a couple days ago on the radio. 98% vehicle robberies have gone up in the past 2 years. Since 2020. We're not talking this year. We're talking last year, and we're talking back in 2020. So you tell me crime's not an issue, Eric Adams. You tell me. You tell me. And then this is where we have to get to Mayor Hypocrite. This is where we have to get to him. Look at this. Mayor Adams, and this is from the Daily News. I read this while I was at work, and I was just disturbed while I was eating lunch to read this. Mayor Adams defended his approach to public safety, rejecting suggestions that he's bringing back the controversial broken windows policy. So, look at this. Eric Adams says on CBS's Face the Nation, it's important for people to say, well, let's look at who's implementing the proper use of dealing with quality of life. I was a leading voice and testified in a federal report about the overuse of police tactics. And then look at this. We are not going back to the policing that I fought to change. Look at this. And he's talking about trying to crack down on guns. But what about cracking down on knives? He doesn't realize that stabbings are an important thing too. For crying out loud, a woman was literally stabbed in the back in Brooklyn this week. In your borough, Eric Adams. You are so full of it. You are so full of it. In Channel 1, you know what they're going to cover? Oh, let's talk about small fires on the Upper West Side. Oh, let's talk about cleaning up the homeless encampment in the East Village. Because that's their demographic. That's who they appeal to. So let's focus on them. And let's just ignore what's going on in Queens. As usual. Let's get into that. So let's just pull up Mayor Hypocrite's picture right here. That's him. That's him right there. And let's see if we can look up something interesting here. Everyone is so focused that Eric Adams is celebrating 100 days as mayor of the city of New York. Oh, trust me, this rant was coming. This rant about Eric Adams was certainly coming soon rather than later. Sooner. Look at this guy. He's so full of it. He's so full of it. And then look at this. This is Mayor Hypocrite right here. He's like, oh, I'm not going to go back to the old policing policy. Wait a minute. In November, I said I was going to reinstate it. So this is why you're being called Mayor Hypocrite, Eric Adams. You say one thing, but you don't mean the other. You are starting to become worse than Bill de Blasio already. You're starting to become worse than David Dinkins. All right, we need mayors like Ed Koch and, Giuliani and Bloomberg. Like, we need those type of people. Not you, Eric Adams. You are not the solution. You are the problem. Okay? You really are the problem. And trust me when I say this. Don't be surprised if Curtis Lee was running again. He may run again. Because remember, Giuliani lost the first time and he came back the second time. Who's to say Curtis Lee can't do it? If this crime really gets out of hand, which it did during David Dinkins' time as mayor, certainly, Eric Adams may see history repeat itself again. Because it certainly is looking like it. And especially because I will show you one last thing. This is the important thing I need to show you. Look at this. Lee Selden's trailing. Lee Selden's trailing by a slim margin. Lee Selden can win the governor's race. There's a good chance he could win this. Which now I'm really considering voting for Lee Selden in the primary if I'm seeing these polls coming out that Kathy Hochul may lose to Lee Zeldin. So, what's shameful is they don't even show Lee Zeldin's picture in here. Yeah, here's Lee Zeldin. So again, looks like there's a good chance I may be voting for Lee Zeldin in the primary because I'm just going to be honest, I don't think Andrew Giuliani's taking this seriously right now. I feel that Lee Zeldin's out there more. He's interacting with us a lot more lately on social media. You know, we need that right now. We don't have Andrew Giuliani doing that. And by the way, Andrew Giuliani is rarely on Fox News. So, watch your back, Eric Adams. Watch your back. Because the cavalry is coming. Lee Zeldin's the leader of the cavalry. You wait and see. It could be him. It could be Andrew Giuliani. It could be Rob Astorino. But it's likely going to be this guy right here. That's it.